Darc and Moody, Moody and Darc. It's been real from the start. Speak the truth, then you playing your part. Nothing fake here. We've been real since daycare. Some change, some stay there. Came from the streets, we speak for the streets, we speak for the youth. Nothing but truth. Feel it in the booth, feel it in your soul, feel it in the cell, feel it on parole, feel it on probation, feel it when you free, totally free. Pardon me, till they pardon me, till they pardon we. Positivity from negativity, back to positivity. The podcast for the streets, helping you eat. We live by the code, we live what we speak. We revolutionize real love, honor, respect, loyalty, educating the masses, bringing unity. It's all or nothing. The podcast for you and me is Darc and Moody. We the voices of the community.
I hear voices right now. I can hear them just as plain as day.
Yeah. What up? This your boy Darc.
And it's your boy Moody, man.
You know what I'm saying? It's Darc and Moody, all or nothing. You know what I mean? Straight out of Connecticut. You feel me? We got a guest in the building. My brother, Assalamu alaikum. You know what I'm saying? Jamal, Molly G. You know what I'm saying?
New York,
Word up, man. Yeah, man. You know what I'm saying? Me and my brother did a lot of time together, man. We've been together. We running the garden for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, never was on count. You know what I'm saying? What's up, Moody? You got something to say about that?
Oh, nah. I was wrong. We was just playing ball together. We just in the P9 playing ball. Young boys trying to outrun us.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Word.
Now we are free.
Yeah, I mean, and my brother just came home from he was like me. There's not too many people who could relate to our situation. We both had life in prison. You know what I mean? His story a little different than mine. Alhamdulillah. But we both had life in prison and now we both free. So people don't see the reality that we see. We see the world in a totally different light. No disrespect to people who had 50 in home and 40 in home and 30 in home and did a lot of time. But the reality of never coming home again, that was like a false reality, but it was a reality that they put on us and we free. So let's get straight into that right quick. How you feel about life after having life in prison and you free?
It's tough. I gotta say, things have come easy for me because I've had a lot of great support and a lot of good brothers around me to help me get to the next step. But as far as emotionally, it's been difficult to get back into that feeling of happiness and to be like emotionally happy. I mean, we're grateful. Well, I'm grateful. I'm appreciative, and I'm not depressed, but I can't say that I'm truly happy. It still feels like there's something missing. When you're fighting for your life for so long, when I was talking to the therapist, because a lot of us, after doing all that time, you got to talk to somebody. And I'm not one to talk to too many people, but even I knew I had to talk to somebody. And she said something that kind of resonated. She says, I put all my emotions down and I suffer from a faint response to trauma. Now, there's two different types of faint responses to trauma. One is the one where you just pass out. And then the other one is like me, where you just emotionally numb. And she said that's dangerous because, one, it goes undiagnosed and untreated because no one talks about it. But it's also that if I were to really give into the trauma, I can calculate, my thoughts will be so calculated that I can be put in a dangerous situation and do something very, very stupid. And we obviously keep my spirits up, stay close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, found Islam in prison, but that's probably one of the most things that I found difficult, to go back to your family and feel like, you never left. And that's difficult.
Yeah, I don't think you could do that.
Hold up. Did you tell people who you are?
Oh, so I'm Norman Gaines for those who want to know my government name, because like you said, like my story is a little different. Both of our cases are in the books. So alhamdulillah, we both made law for and by Allah, some people out there still using our cases to come home. So when you look me up, you're gonna see Norman Gaines. The brothers in prison call me Jamal Abdullah Jalal. That's where the Jamal came from. It says, beautiful servant of Allah, the powerful. And obviously, what he said, I'm from Harlem, born and raised, came out here, 3 months, got in a lot of trouble.
So you was in CT for 3 months.
3 months.
It's been 30 years here.
Yeah.
Kidnapped.
Yeah.
How much time you did?
Well, it wasn't quite 30. It was 25 and 8 months.
So y'all was the same time.
They wanted that 30. I was just with them. They wanted that 30.
No, they did. If it wasn't for Carlton Giles, and shout out to Carlton Giles.
Who's Carlton Giles?
Carlton Giles he was the chairperson of the Board of Pardons and Parole.
The commutation.
Who was one of the orchestrators of giving a lot of brothers a second chance and cutting down our time to come home. So, recently, they took him out of office. Well, he's still part of the board, but he's no longer the chair. Because unfortunately, a lot of people didn't think we deserved to be home.
Yeah.
And when people ask me how much time I've done, I don't normally say it in years anymore. Because when people hear 25 years, 26 years, 30 years, while it's a long time and it hits people, I do it by days now. So on the average, between me, Moody, and Darc, we did about 21,000 days in jail. That's different. When you hear that somebody spent 7,000 days plus in 21-hour lockup, sometimes 20-hour lockup, sometimes 23-hour lockup. 7,000 days.
Yeah, that's a long time.
That's a long time. Yeah. I spent about 200 days with Darc in the cell.
Yeah.
Before I went to trial.
Yeah, 200 days.
Well, like 6 months, right? 7 months. 10 months. We ain't do a year because it was in
200 days.
Yeah, something like that. It was it was a long time.
200 days.
Yeah.
I just said this now. He just said 21. We said
21,000.
Just imagine being in a cell with one person for that long. There's people that did that too. Cellies.
Yeah.
Forever.
For 20.
For the whole bed. Shout out to Gomez and Days. They were Cellies for like 10 years. Word up. Hey yo, so boom, we gonna go back. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Boom. So my viewers, we always keep it 100 with my viewers. So tell my viewers, you know what I mean, where you from and where you grew up.
Okay, so I'm from Spanish Harlem. Before I moved to Wagner Projects, shout out to Wagner, of course. I was in East River, and shout out to East River Projects.
So you was in El Barrio.
El Barrio all day long. And, I am the Boricua. You heard first over here, so people don't try to steal my phrase. Black Boricua. That's the Boricua.
Yeah.
Right? So, I grew up in El Barrio, Spanish Harlem. Grew up with my Spanish side of the family, so that's where I got my Latino heritage and being able to speak, write, and read it.
Who was the Spanish in the family? Like
my mother.
Mom's was Boricua or
no? Mom's Boricua from the island.
Oh, she from over there.
She
was born and raised over there.
Born and raised over there. My grandmother brought them over here when she was, I think, 18 and 19. And with my aunts and uncles.
Yeah. So what part of Puerto Rico is she from?
Well, my mother was born in San Dulce, but my grandmother's from Cabo Rojo.
Yeah.
So that's where we're from.
All right. Shout out to
You went
Shout
over
out
there?
to
You went there?
shout out to Puerto Rico.
yeah.
You
No,
was there.
I didn't go where he from.
Oh.
Yeah, I went. We was in Luisa and Fajardo, Catalina, Rio Grande, and San Juan, and Old San Juan.
I definitely got to go back there though. I haven't been back there since I was a little boy. My mom took me out there twice to really discover our roots. And
All right.
yeah,
I'm going there for my honeymoon.
It's not a honeymoon.
That's how I'm trying to figure out the word. I'm
Yeah.
trying to figure out the word.
It's the part 2 moon.
Part.
He married
We're
already,
already.
but he gonna
we
have
had a
another wedding.
on the day that we got
Yeah.
married.
Yeah. So his
So we
honeymoon.
had no honeymoon. I had no. Who said the honeymoon had to be the next day? It could be a year later. So it's a honeymoon.
All right, yeah. All right.
you free. You can call it whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. I don't know what you call it, but congratulations. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
July 29th, right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Alhamdulillah. And when you jump in the broom, man, when you tying that knot?
Well, we'll see what happens. You know, I'm talking to someone, and it's quite serious.
Nah.
But
Don't play with it.
nah,
Don't play with it. Don't play with it. Don't play with it. Yeah, don't play with it.
definitely
Yeah.
last 50% of my deen.
Yeah, so don't play with it,
I
man.
definitely am planning that, inshallah.
Mm.
So
All right, so boom, we in El Barrio. We went from one project to another project. You know what I mean? And how you grew up? Was it a single parent household, dual family, step pops? What it looked like?
grew up single family household. You know, had a couple different stepfathers. One actually married my mother. You know, that was like always good at first, but then you got to put it on step pops because he's one of the guys who got a little crazy when he drank. And then when you get older, I hate domestic violence, so I always wear the bracelet, support, the women who suffer through domestic violence.
So you seen domestic violence in the home
all day, and I got kicked out after we put it on one time, and then there was another time.
Who was with you and your brother? Just
me, my uncle. He's my cousin, but call him my uncle, and my other cousin, and it was just that day. Like it was just one of those days where you're just like, enough is enough.
Yeah.
And then my mom's got between us, son. Sometimes I'm too smart for my own good. I say, all right, I know who you can't stop. You can't stop 3.
Yeah.
You can get between 1, but you can't get between 3. And we got at him. And then the next time we was in the house, young, I think 14, 15 at the time. They were locked in a room and put it on him. I had to. He ended up getting cut. I didn't even think I had it in me.
Yeah.
So when police came, they were like, he was like, yo, look at my eye, I'm cut. And police was like, I don't see nothing. Then my mom tried to explain it with her broken English.
Yeah.
And then he told her, say, yo, I'm gonna tell you this one time, man. I don't see anything. But if you make me see something, I gotta take your son. So she understood it. She was like, all right. She was like, yo, we moving homeboy out the house right now. So, they moved him out the house. And then, after that, you kind of like king of the crib.
Yeah.
So once you go out there in the streets, again, too smart for my own good. I was a good student. But then when you put a kid with a good mind out there into the streets and you force them to be around all the nonsense that's around us, plus my whole family was, street people. So, and even the ones who were like Jehovah's Witness and church people, they kind of like did street things where they protected the street. People, like those of us from the street, cousins hiding out in the crib, police coming. I don't know where you at. So you're just surrounded by it.
Yeah. So what middle school you went to out there?
I went a few. So the first one, you're talking about, because New York is different.
Yeah.
Middle school, right over here, you can go from 9 to 12. Out there, you go from junior high to high school.
Yeah, and most schools in Connecticut, you go from K to 4, then you go to 5 to 8, then 9 to 12.
Yeah, we don't do that. Here we go from K to 5, no, K to 6, 7 to 9, some go 7 to 10, right? But 7 to 9, and then you go 10 to 12.
Yeah.
So I went to.
So let's go to the K to 6.
Oh, PS 83.
PS 83.
Yeah, on 109th Street. I was there. Then I went to Academy of Environmental Science. From there, I went to Urban Peace Academy. Got kicked out of that. Had a superintendent suspension. First time I ever got suspended. Kicked out of school. Period. Like, we didn't want them back. We were schooling my projects, though.
Yeah.
And
so the school was inside of the PJ?
Yeah, because there's a school called Junior High School 45, and then Urban Peace Academy was supposed to. They just put a brand new school in there. So when we saw it on the program sheet where you want to pick your high schools, my mom was like, "No, I don't want you going to school out here." I was like, "It's right there."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I can't have an attendance problem with the school right there, so I'm trying to talk to her into it. She's like, "No, you're gonna get in trouble." And sure enough, mom knew it.
Yeah.
I knew everybody in the hood.
You knew it.
It was crazy because it was only one grade at the time because we were supposed to be like the first graduating class.
Yeah.
And then for some reason they didn't let us like go out to
what grade was that?
That was 9th. No, that was 10th grade. Yeah, because I still had to complete some of 9th. I was supposed to go to summer school that day, but the teacher got his ass whooped. Funniest story ever.
Yeah, go ahead, give it to us.
So the first day of class in summer school, the dude said, you know how to do the normal thing. Who are you? Say your name, a little bit about yourself. So
like how we do.
Yeah, a little bit. The teacher started talking about he a ninja.
Yeah.
Right?
Ninja.
So, a ninja. Like he take ninjutsu.
Yeah.
But he got like a slick mouth. And then in your head, he ain't get slick with me, but he got a slick tongue. And in your head, you be like, one of these days, somebody gonna whoop your ass.
Yeah.
Lo and behold, that was that day.
Yeah.
All you hear.
He said he was a ninja.
A ninja.
And what's his ethnicity? What is he? Black?
White dude.
White?
Straight white dude, right? It was crazy, man. So the dude, all I hear in my next class, like, going from class to class, stop! You're gonna kill him. So I'm like, no, that's not what they said. That's not what they said. They said, stop! I thought you was a ninja.
Yeah.
I thought, the chicks are funny as hell.
Yeah.
I thought you was a ninja. He propped up like this.
Yeah.
Now, skinny black kid he nice with it, but he ain't doing filthy.
Yeah.
But every time homeboy jump up like this,
yeah,
he said, pop, pop.
Yeah.
And then sure enough, who they took. So
they took who?
They took the black dude.
To
jail.
He got locked up for fighting the teacher.
Yeah.
As he should have.
Well, the women said that the teacher provoked him.
Yeah.
And they were like, he kind of like started it.
Like what? Did the teacher put his hands on him?
I don't know. I wasn't there.
Yeah.
All I heard was,
stop. I thought you was a ninja.
Yeah. And then I just see, it's funny because when you slowly see a dude get lumped up little by little, like, bop, speed not.
Yeah.
Bop, not.
Yeah. And he getting beat up by a 14-year-old.
Yeah.
Because y'all was 9th grade, right?
Yeah, but the kid was tall though. He like one of them athletic.
Yeah, but he's still 14.
He is. He
probably ain't want to kill him, man. He's a ninja, man.
He a ninja. He was a ninja, man. He didn't want to do it to him.
He a kid.
Yeah, he didn't want to do it to the kid. Yeah. I'd have beat his little ass. His 14-year-old ass would have been whooped in that glass.
But you wouldn't be in that situation.
I wouldn't have been a ninja. And I would, you got to respect the teacher, man. Sit down, everybody.
That was funny as hell, man.
Yeah.
Like, you just see too much in school.
Word.
Because all the stuff people talk about nowadays where, weapons and classes and all this and that. Like, we all had weapons. And then I grew up in the era where everybody was cutting.
Well, you was Puerto Rican. They cut people anyway.
No, we don't. We defend ourselves with what we have.
Yeah, knives and machetes and shit, and razors.
Born with them shit.
Born with it. As soon as it came out the wound, the scalpel, he grabbed it. First thing he grabbed.
Yo.
I ain't gonna lie, yeah. The scalpel's crazy, man.
Word up. Yeah, so when you think back to school, like what was the livest thing about school? Like the livest thing. Whatever what you consider live at the time, not right now as a 40-something year old man, what you consider live at the time, what was the livest thing about school for you?
And really the livest thing about school was like you had a real sense of peace at the time in a way. Because
you being educated. You're giving us an educated answer.
No, because when you go back and think about
no, don't go back and think about it. Think about right now, back then.
What made you be like, yo, wake up and be like,
yo, I'm gonna do this today in school. Yo, we gonna go Not the grown man thinking about. Yeah, I was at peace and
obviously
not that.
You're gonna think of the BS, man.
So what would you consider live about
chicks getting fresh?
Chicks
going to class.
Like, I was around
auditorium.
I was out there in middle school. I was out in the streets already. So,
buying the next,
right? You buying the next whatever sneakers and clothes, fresh to death, like I used to say, and like parties. Because back then we had I didn't do a lot of the house parties, but everybody did the house parties. Just in the hallway with the chicks. And when you leave school, like, matter of fact, even when we decided to like cut lunch and take lunch outside, because they didn't let us out. But since, I knew the school, it's my hood.
Yeah,
I know what door to go to.
Yeah. And
then one day we looked in the cafeteria and was like, yo, where everybody at? Right? I told you it's only one grade. So I'm like, where everybody at? Now I look back, we got half the school over here. Went outside, and was like, damn, man, we just too much.
Yo, I skipped lunch and gym. I skipped all my classes.
Yeah,
I never skipped gym.
You went to all your classes?
No, I skipped all my classes.
Yeah.
On the first period, and the rest of the classes done.
Where you was at?
Sheridan. It starts from the 7th grade.
No, where you was at when you skipped the classes?
In the hallways.
Just walking the halls.
Chilling.
For hours.
Hanging out.
No, we left.
Yeah.
No, hanging out.
And what this is, you going way back. You going to
from 7th grade all the way to the 10th grade.
Yeah.
I ain't never been past the first period. My gym class, gym class was the last period.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody 2 o'clock, nobody being there. And lunch was like
12 o'clock, 11:30.
Yo, I missed math school though. I probably missed at least a third of school.
You missed what grade you didn't attend?
Well,
was you kicked out of school?
I was kicked out of school for a fight that we had with 2 teachers got hurt. I was cleared of the teachers.
Yo, you doing a lot of teacher beating.
Nigga been beating teachers up.
Nah. But they got me because I set the fight off.
Yeah.
But again, when you in your hood and you set off a fight, I didn't think everybody was gonna do what they did. Yeah, man. It was my man. This dude was trying to get at him, had some words with him. So then when I saw security take my man on the other side of the hallway, and this dude still popping off, I'm like, Bob.
Yeah.
Like, where do you think you are? Like, where do you think you at?
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
You hit him with the left?
Definitely.
You left-handed?
Definitely.
Yeah, you seen the left hand come out. People won't be peeping stuff like that.
And it was the perfect like hit for the left because he was like right here. So it was like, and he was like popping up. Oh yeah. Pop.
Yeah. That's right. That's right.
And then other man jumped in because I was, that was our boy. And we didn't want to see him get in trouble like that. And plus, we were somewhere how you gonna get at him. Like you didn't even need a building.
Yeah.
So
you got knocked over 2 fights.
No, that was one fight that ended up kicking me out of school.
The ninja joint, you ain't get kicked out for the ninja.
Nah, my moms didn't let me go back. She was, when I told my moms about it, she was like, "You're not going back to that school."
Yeah.
Because she was like, "I'm already out there. If I stay in there, she probably gonna think I'm hanging around some more people." Because you could tell I'm already on that path.
Yeah.
So you know how it is. You got one foot in, one foot out. But I really got kind of like both feet in. It's just like my heel.
Yo, touching the school a little bit.
Yeah.
Yo, when I was you was bad, man. You skipped middle school. People don't do middle school like that.
I was with your cousin.
Yeah, y'all was wild.
I was your cousin. You taught your cousin.
Yeah, yo, I liked school when I was coming up. I liked going to class.
I was with an island nigga.
Yeah.
Them niggas skipping.
Yeah, I like going word is bond, like middle school, 5 through 8. I like going to school. Like I like getting good grades. Back at that age, I liked having like we was E's at the time. We wasn't getting A's and B's. It was E, S's, N's. I don't know if you could relate to that, but
Definitely.
I had all E's.
I was a good student. That's what pissed the teachers off. I loved school. The issue was more home. So my mom's, she was like party, sniff coke, and when she lost her job and started struggling a little bit, she wasn't called out. She was like kind of functioning, cokehead at the time. So I'm the oldest in the house. I had to make sure my brother and sister went to school. Make sure my mom's was straight, safe, number one. And then nursed her back to health, cook whatever I need to do, make sure everybody was good. So when people used to ask me like, "Why are you missing so much?" I'm like, "I'll be there. Nobody really knew."
Yeah.
So, but I loved the school. I used to read on my books, when I went home. So spare time, I'm just reading and catching up on stuff. And the teachers, they try to put you out there, like, you miss so much. I'm like, do whatever you put whatever you want on the board. I bet I could do it.
Yeah.
So they were like, yeah, right. All right. They thought I was a smart ass for
that. Yeah, high school I did with y'all. It was like what you was talking about. Like, I went to first period. Now, I didn't even go to first period. I went to homeroom. And then from homeroom, I went to gym. But it wasn't my gym period. I did all the
that gym period was live, though.
Yeah, I did all the first 3 gym periods.
It was live.
Gym, somebody else's gym, then my gym. Then I went to the chow hall. I did all 3 chow halls. And then I did study hall and went home. So I never went to none of the classes. I got straight F's as a freshman. I got an A in gym and F's and everything else. It's crazy. Word up. But yeah, I can relate to that. And I did it because it was cool, like going to the gym, dudes rapping, doing the beat on the joint, playing ball, like showing the range. I could dunk back then. It was crazy. It was live. The school was live. Then dudes smoking, drinking 40s, like we 14-year-old 40'd up, drunk in school. Cisco, freaking everything. It's
right.
Horrible.
OE,
yeah. Dudes had St. Ives. I drank the OE. So dudes drinking OE, St. Ives, smoking weed, drinking Cisco in school, 14-year-old bent, like a drunk man at a club. It was like too much. Yeah, I mean, I did all that shit at 14, 15. So turning 16, I was like 16, 17. It was easy for me not to smoke and drink because I was fucked up. 14 and 15, I was done. Word up. Yeah, man. I done did it all. By the age of 15, I was fucking wasted. It was trifling. Yeah, man. Word. And shout out to the kids who that stayed away from the drugs. Don't mess with the weed, the alcohol. Definitely not. Don't do it, man. If you ain't tried it yet, don't do it. You know what I mean? It might not turn out like how it turned out for the other guys, man. You know what I mean? Definitely. Word. But yeah, all right. So we in the school, you was the live part, you was the hustling kid, you was fresh to death, you know what I mean? And you got kicked out of 9th grade because you whooped another teacher.
No, the other dude with the teacher. My mom just didn't let me go back.
Yeah.
But I got kicked out. There's 2 teachers got hurt during that scuffle because everybody rushed them. So it became like a
So
big
the number we got is right. We said 2.
Well, no.
Technically, we said you got 2 teachers.
Yeah.
Right. So,
but
I didn't rock.
It would have been 3.
Even
Yeah.
the teachers testified at the superintendent hearing.
And you still lost.
Nah, yeah. I got cleared of that.
You always be
But
losing.
since-
You
but
look
since-
be losing.
Yeah, but since
you lost trial for that.
and they told me I was.
They said it wasn't true, and you still lost.
But
you still went
I
there.
lost because one, they said I was the one who started the fight.
Who said it? The teachers?
The principal.
The principal seen you start the fight?
You can't beat the principal.
People tell.
Yeah, somebody told.
Yeah.
And the
You
principal.
can't beat
yeah.
the principal.
And obviously, but the teachers also did tell me I did put hands on homeboy. They didn't see me start it, but she was there when I was putting hands on him. So
Yeah.
she was like putting hands on him, and then homeboy was trying to tell, "No, I saw him hit the teacher," And then I kind of I almost lost it at the hearing.
Yeah.
I was like, "Tom, tell me to calm down. 'Cause I'm about to jump over the table."
Yeah.
So I was like, "Mine." When you're young, you don't really know you have it in you because I wasn't one of the troublemaking kids.
Yeah.
But I was the quiet one, just chilling. And then next thing you know, you're just in a fight.
Yeah. So boom. All right, we kicked out of school. Did we get back in school or what?
Well, I went to Vanguard High School. The principal did. And
Vanguard?
Yeah. That was one of them alternative schools. I
Yeah.
was just too smart to be in there. And you kind of like they were doing their curriculum stuff I was doing in junior high school.
Yeah.
So I hated it, but that was weird.
But you got
Went
straight
from
A's in there though.
Well,
You
I was
did?
getting them,
Yeah.
but then I just didn't care, so I just stopped going to school. I was like, I'm not, this ain't for me. I don't like this environment. It felt like prison,
Yeah.
because that's you gotta take a pass to go here and there. I'm like, man, I ain't going on. I'm out. So
And you like, fuck it, I'm leaving New York.
no, I didn't leave New York yet. So I went out there and I was out there in the streets. Now I'm out there for real now. So when you out there and you got smarts, not just street smarts, but you're really smart with numbers and knowing how to manage stuff, people exploit that. And when you know how to keep your mouth shut on top of that, and you're willing to put in whatever work you need to be put in, they just exploited me. So I'm out there managing blocks, and you don't think about it at the time like you're managing adults as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're telling grown-ups
Yeah.
what to do, and you're kind of like in charge of their life. Because if you don't do what I'm asking you to do, you get hurt or
Yeah.
worse.
No doubt.
That's the streets. And then, I met a shorty out there, really good shorty out there. So
Out where?
in New York at the time. And so I'm like, and she showed me something different. So like, I don't want this anymore. Like I never liked the streets. I've always hated it. People used to think I used to love it because they see me smiling, but I'm always smiling. I was smiling in prison. You know what I mean? So when you see that you want something else and you can get it, I went for it. That's what brought me out here. And then 3 months later, I found myself
Yeah.
fighting for my life.
So how you wind up in Connecticut? Like what was your road to CT? Like
So
give me the you remember that week. Tell me that week that led up to coming to CT.
my cousin sees me, right? My mom's is doing good now. Like she was not on drugs. She went to the rehab, got her way back. I'm looking around at my family and I'm like, everybody good. Cause that's what really let me out there. When you need bread, you just need bread. And then, you get caught up in fashion after a while just because the money's there. So it comes from necessity to other stuff. And then I'm like, be shorty, family good. So then I just tell my family, like, I don't want this no more. I'm talking to my cousin, like, we're really having a heart to heart. Like, so I don't want this anymore. He's like, for real? So I never wanted it. I said, you got so many people trying to come at me. They're trying to steal me away from my boy, E at the time. And you're like, why you guys keep pushing, like, keep trying to pull me away? And you got and these big time drug dealers, in the hood. This the time when dudes have block time. So my boy's trying to get me to put, other stuff on block, for myself. So he's like, yo, partner up with this dude so you can get on and this and that, man. And you make all this bread. And then now I'm getting pulled from everybody's now seeing like, yo, I'll give you this, shorty, I'll give you that, And I'm like, but I don't want it. And then I just chill with shorty one time. And I'm looking at it and, you just feel that peace. Like I'm just done. So then one day, my cousin was like, yo, I'm taking you to CT. He took me out of here. And that ended up being a worse situation. It was cool at first.
That's what I'm going to say.
You landed in Bridgeport?
Yeah.
But it wasn't terrible. But the problem is when you got a kid who's too smart for his own good, but he can't figure out the little details that make life work. Like I could pay rent, I can manage money, I can do all these things. But if you ask me where to go get my social security card, even though I memorized it since I was a little boy, I didn't know where to go. You try to tell me where to go get my transcripts from school, I didn't know where to go. And then I didn't want to go back and speak to my family because I didn't want to get caught up in whatever it is that they were dealing with. So if they were doing bad, again, I didn't want to get caught up in that.
So you came up here to get out of the streets.
Get out of the streets.
So why the hell you go to Bridgeport?
Well, it was, when you look at Bridgeport,
yeah,
right, and people talk about how bad Bridgeport is, right?
Yeah.
But New York in the 90s was evil. Like you really was.
But this is what we Darc is trying to show people. Like, yo, Connecticut have urban life. And you just experience. Matter of fact, we might give up more time than other states probably.
No, they do. You do. Because I would have never got even arrested in New York.
So you just went from one jungle right into another jungle. You just jumped over the fence.
Yeah.
And jumped right. Yep. Connecticut.
In the 90s, right? Like, I don't know how, I can't speak for Bridgeport, but I've seen how it was. I see how it was on the newspaper, you know what I mean? And the news and shit like that. But coming from where I came from and my projects and seeing the shit that I seen, it was crazy. The 90s was outrageous. I done seen people dying every day, overdosing, shootings. I got shot at the age of 16 in the chest, like grazed in the back of the head right here when I was 12. Like this was like the life. Like I didn't see at this age right here, I didn't see 18, 19, 20, 21 when I was out there in the streets. And then I went to South Central LA at the age of 17 when it was gang banging and Bloods, Crips, and Crenshaw, Slauson, Compton Boulevard, and Long Beach Avenue, where I lived at out there. And I felt the same, like I was in the projects. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't, you know how somebody leave from Connecticut and go to New York or go to California or you feeling like this shit gonna be a different pace, it's gonna be this and that. That shit was the same to me. Like from the
different
way
slang.
The slang just was different. You know what I mean? That's just the thing. The slang was different. Like, hey, homie. You know what I mean? It was that instead of, yo, what up, my G, or what up, nigga? It was just, hey, homie, what you doing? You banging? What we doing over there? You know what I'm saying? It was just the talk. The slango was a little bit different. You know what I mean? But it was the same. The urban shit from CT was the same as the urban shit in California.
It's the same. The only difference I gotta say between New York and CT is this: New York is just more congested.
Yeah.
Like it's just so many damn people outside.
Yeah, you on the subway, people bumping into you, you get pickpocketed and all that.
It's not just a pickpocket. Like you can get left in front of everybody.
Yeah.
And nobody saw nothing. You know, you just out here. I mean, like in Connecticut, you're done. Like, because dudes, they were putting to work. So I gotta say that. Like Bridgeport was definitely dangerous. But like it's less people, you know, and everybody knows everybody out here in Connecticut.
Yeah.
Which I found weird. I was like, you know this dude's first and last name and his mother and their grandfather and where this big
they gotta be for the same area though to know.
But I'm just saying, like that's just how it seemed. Like I'm
Yeah.
like, I know each other like that. Like in New York, I don't even know my neighbor's name.
Yeah.
You know, we got a whole floor, and I couldn't tell you who lived a couple doors down. I knew who lived in
Because
front
you
of
wasn't nosy like that.
Nah, but it was just when you go there, like
I'm pretty sure it's some people who know everybody.
There's always a nosy person.
Yeah, I mean, right? It's dudes that know. Like I lived in the high rises, right?
Yeah.
I lived on the 4th floor. I only knew the people who lived right across from me, like in 41A. I knew who they was.
That's it.
And everybody on that end on the 4th floor, the 5th floor, the 6th floor, the 7th floor, 8th floor, I ain't know none of them. The 2nd floor, I knew who lived on the 2nd floor because my mother was cool with the lady who lived right under us, so I knew them. And then this kid named George that lived on the 1st floor, I was cool with him at one point in time. So them the only people, like when I be thinking back, I know like probably 3 families in the whole high rise. And all the other buildings, I ain't know where nobody lived at. You know what I mean?
In New York, but definitely was just different. But like you said, every hood is the same. Yeah. There's some differences, but most of them are.
And projects and street corners, what's the difference to you from projects and street corners?
Well,
you grew up in the projects, right?
I grew up in the projects,
and you hung on street.
But I also lived on the street
in New York or Connecticut.
And
well, Connecticut though, because you had 3 months here.
Yeah. So New York,
you got 28, 45 years to do.
Yeah, I lived more in prison than I did out there.
You lived more in prison in the street too, right? Yeah. You wasn't 25 when you came in.
No, that's what I said. I lived more in prison than I did out there.
Yeah,
I went to jail when I was 17, and I come out when I'm 44.
Yeah.
Well, no, I was 43 at the time.
Where?
Why
you shaking your head? You feel the same way?
Yeah, they kidnap people.
They kidnap
people, and then they don't teach you. I mean, they teach you the stuff is outdated. So stuff that I was learning in there, when I get out here, I'm like, oh man, this stuff, this doing nothing. You know how Apple just got new update. I'm like, this shit. I'm like 20 years behind.
Yeah, your life was keep updating.
Yeah, your life ain't keep updating.
Yeah. TV ain't help you.
TV, man.
You was watching old shows. You was watching MASH.
We just got a flat screen.
Yeah.
Like
no,
what?
But I'm saying, if you was watching TV, right? Listen, you watching TV. You in jail, you watching TV. You watching new episodes, Friends, How I Met Your Mother.
That's it.
Different episodes, shows, the Chappelle Show, whatever you watching. You can stay a little bit relevant with what's going on in the world, commercials and all that. But you watching MASH, you can't.
They did
Cheers.
They did it. No, they did this good.
Yeah,
especially during COVID.
The niggas told.
Yeah. But we was doing good when we was in.
My goodness, Garner, a whole little spot.
Yeah, we used to have all the movies. We see all the new movies and everything that was coming out. All the new music. All that.
Spoiled my whole bed,
yeah.
Couldn't think of it.
We had it like, having that job, that gym job, we didn't do no counts. And every time we was off count, we was watching the latest movies that came out. Listening to all the new music when all that shit came out when dudes couldn't get it, no cuss words and all that. We had all that.
Man, it's still dudes don't know how to email a tablet, man.
And it's sad because they're going to need it.
Yeah, word up. But yeah, man, we're going to get into more stuff, but I want to give a shout out real quick to La Isla Spanish Restaurant, 2779 Dixwell Avenue, Hamden, Connecticut, 06518. That's La Isla Spanish restaurant.
Yeah, Freddie, right?
Yeah, we're gonna be in the Freddie parade this year. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna have our own float and all that. So look out for us at in this Freddie Fixer parade, man. Yo,
you're gonna have food on the float?
We might have some food. We might give out some empanadas. I don't know, man.
I want to be on the float eating.
Yeah. You gonna get on the float, right? Get on the float?
Eating. That's why I asked you what's gonna be food up there.
Yeah. Are you getting on the float though? This is what I'm asking you.
Get on the float? Get on the float. Of course I'm getting on the float. That's fair. We get on the float. I don't want to know if it's gonna be food on the float though.
Yeah, it might be a little bit of food on the float. You know what I'm saying? It might be a little bit of food on the float. I don't know. Me and the wife, we got to talk about that, but word up. La Isla Spanish Restaurant, 27.